I told my friend she's in the same league as men she calls ugly. My coworker Zoe constantly talks about how she's too good for the guys in our office building. She works reception on the 3rd floor. I work IT support for the whole building, fixing everyone's computers and network issues. Like, literally every single day during our lunch break, she'd point out different guys walking through the lobby and just absolutely tear them apart. Look at his receding hairline. Why do bald guys even think they have a chance with someone like me? Or that guy from marketing is so short, probably like 5'7" on a good day. Or Miles from accounting keeps bringing me coffee every morning like some pathetic puppy dog. But seriously, look at that dad bod at 25. He probably still lives with his mom in the basement playing video games all night. And honestly, it wasn't just casual comments either, you know? She'd literally take pics of guys from the company directory and send them to our group chat with like 15 crying, laughing emojis. This guy from HR asked me out yesterday. Brad from HR. Can you believe the actual audacity? She'd rate them out of 10 like she was some kind of celebrity judge on American Idol or something. The thing is, and this is what really gets me, Zoe works reception. She answers phones, signs for packages, and schedules conference rooms. That's literally her entire job description. She's not exactly climbing the corporate ladder here, but she acts like she's the CEO's daughter who deserves nothing but investment bankers and male models walking straight out of GQ magazine. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with having standards or whatever, but Zoe's standards were just, I don't know, completely disconnected from reality? Like she'd scroll through dating apps during work hours and swipe left on guys who were honestly way out of her league, muttering about how there are no quality men left in this city. I've worked at Harrington Tech Solutions for about 3 years now. It's one of those mid-sized software companies that occupies 4 floors of a downtown office building. We do custom database solutions for other businesses, which sounds boring because it absolutely is, but the pay's decent and the benefits are solid, so I can't really complain. Zoe started about 1.5 years ago. She came in all bright and cheerful during her first week, introducing herself to everyone, bringing in donuts one morning, the whole new employee charm offensive. I actually liked her at first. We'd grab coffee together in the break room, talk about weekend plans, normal coworker stuff. But then, I guess after she felt comfortable enough, the real Zoe started showing up. The comments about guys started small at first. Little observations here and there. Oh, he's not really my type. Or I could never date someone who wears sneakers to work. Normal preference stuff that everyone has, right? But it escalated. Like within 3 months, she'd created this whole rating system in her head and started sharing it with anyone who'd listen. She added me and 2 other women from different departments to a group chat she called Quality Control. I didn't even understand what she meant at first. Then the screenshots started. Photos of guys from our company with captions like, "This is a 4 on a good day with proper lighting," or "Why does he dress like he shops at Goodwill?" Some of them were actually pretty mean. And I probably should have said something earlier, but I don't know. I didn't want the drama. One of the other women in the chat, Jennifer from sales, would sometimes push back. That's kind of harsh, don't you think? But Zoe would just laugh it off. I'm just being honest. Someone has to have standards around here. The worst part was watching Zoe interact with these guys to their faces. She'd be all smiles and friendly small talk, then the second they walked away, she'd turn to me with this disgusted expression. "Did you see his shoes? Those are at least 10 years old." Or, "He definitely uses 3-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, and body wash. You can just tell." Miles from accounting was like her favorite target. This guy would bring her a vanilla latte every single morning at 9:15 a.m. without fail. He'd memorized her exact order: extra foam, no sugar, a little cinnamon sprinkled on top. He'd set it on her desk with a smile and ask how her evening was, genuinely interested in her answer. And Zoe? She'd wait until he was barely out of earshot before making gagging gestures. I can't tell if he's more pathetic or annoying, probably both. Like, bro, take a hint. I'm not interested in guys who peak at 25 and spend their weekends watching sports in their childhood bedroom. The thing is, Miles actually has his own place. A nice 1-bedroom apartment downtown that he's really proud of. He showed me pictures once when he was talking about finally buying real furniture instead of using his old college stuff. He volunteers at an animal shelter every other Saturday. He's taking online classes to get his MBA. He's actually got his life pretty together for someone our age. But Zoe had decided he wasn't good enough, so nothing he did would ever change her mind. She'd already put him in a box labeled "beneath me," and that was that. I watched this pattern play out with like a dozen different guys over the months. There was David from marketing who always held the elevator door for people. Zoe called him a try-hard with middle management energy. There was Tyler from the warehouse who had really nice eyes and a great smile. Zoe said he probably didn't even finish college and would amount to nothing. She had this running commentary going constantly, and somehow I'd become her main audience for it. Maybe because I was in IT and had to visit her desk regularly to fix computer issues, or maybe because I hadn't shut her down like I should have. Looking back, I think part of me was just fascinated by how delusional she was. Like watching a car crash in slow motion. You know it's bad, but you can't look away. And it wasn't just guys from our office either. Zoe would screenshot her dating app matches and send them to the group chat with brutal assessments. This one's too short according to his bio. This one has a boring job. This one has a receding hairline that he's trying to hide with strategic photo angles. Swipe left, swipe left, swipe left. Jennifer from sales dropped out of the group chat after about 3 months. She sent a private message saying she didn't want to participate in tearing people down anymore. I should have done the same thing, honestly, but I didn't. I just muted the notifications and stopped responding, which Zoe apparently took as silent agreement. The other woman, Kristen from customer service, stayed in the chat but rarely participated. Later, she told me she'd kept the chat active just to have evidence if things ever went too far. Smart girl. So anyway, that's the background. That's who Zoe was and how she operated. A receptionist with an ego the size of Texas who genuinely believed she deserved someone way above her actual league, while simultaneously mocking guys who were honestly perfect matches for her. So last Monday rolls around, right? I get a ticket submitted to the IT help desk at like 8:30 inches the morning. Computer running slow, lots of pop-ups, can't access email. The user? Zoe Williams. Reception desk, 3rd floor. I head up there around 10 a.m. after handling a couple other tickets. Zoe's on a personal call when I arrive, twirling her hair and laughing at something the person on the other end said. She holds up one finger at me like, "Give me a minute," which fine, whatever. I'm getting paid by the hour anyway. I wait there for like 5 minutes while she wraps up her conversation. When she finally hangs up, she doesn't apologize for making me wait or anything. Just goes, "Oh, thank God you're here." My computer is like completely possessed or something. I sit down at her desk and immediately see the problem. Her browser has no less than 17 different toolbars installed. I'm talking WeatherBug toolbar, Coupon Finder toolbar, some random search toolbar I've never even heard of, plus a bunch of suspicious browser extensions with names like Shop Smart Helper and Deal Finder Pro, which are definitely malware. "Zoe," I say, trying to keep my voice neutral, "how did you manage to install all of these?" She shrugs. "I don't know. They just kind of appeared. I was trying to download a recipe PDF last week and then all this stuff showed up. I want to give her a lecture about downloading random files from sketchy websites, but honestly, I'd be here all day. I've already had this conversation with her 4 times in the year and a half she's worked here. She never learns. So I start running malware scans and updating her antivirus software while she sits there filing her nails. It's about 11:45 now, almost lunchtime, and the lobby starts getting busy with people heading out to grab food. That's when Zoe's usual routine kicks in. She literally swivels her chair toward the lobby area and starts her commentary like she's hosting some kind of sad reality show. Oh God, there's Miles again with his pathetic daily coffee delivery. I glance up from the computer screen. Sure enough, Miles from accounting is walking toward the reception desk with 2 coffee cups in his hands. One for him, one for Zoe, same as every single weekday morning. Zoe continues without taking a breath. Look at him. Dad bod central. Cheap Supercuts haircut that he probably got for like $12. Probably drives his mom's old Honda with the dented bumper and thinks bringing me coffee every day is going to win me over or something. Miles gets closer and Zoe's entire demeanor changes. Her voice goes all sweet and cheerful. "Oh, Miles, you're so thoughtful. You didn't have to do that." "No problem," Miles says, setting the coffee on her desk. "Vanilla latte, extra foam, light cinnamon." "You always remember," Zoe says with this fake grateful smile. "How was your weekend?" Miles asks, genuinely interested. "Oh, you know, busy. Went out with some friends, had brunch, the usual." They make small talk for maybe 2 minutes before Miles heads back toward the elevators. The second, and I mean the absolute second, he's far enough away, Zoe's face just transforms back into this expression of disgust. "Did you see those khakis?" she mutters to me. Like, who still wears khakis to work? And that polo shirt has to be from like 2015. Probably still shops at Old Navy thinking he's fashion forward. Why do guys like that think they can ask out someone like me? I mean, I have standards. I'm not just going to settle for the first guy who brings me coffee and asks about my weekend. Something inside me just kind of snaps. Maybe it's because I've been listening to this for months. Maybe it's because Miles is actually a decent guy who doesn't deserve the constant mockery. Maybe it's because I'm just tired of pretending this is normal behavior. But mostly, I think it's because I'm staring at both of their employee photos on the company directory right there on her screen, and the similarity is just so blindingly obvious that I can't not say something. "Zoe," I say slowly, "hang on, look at this for a second." I pull up the employee database, which I have access to as part of my IT administrator privileges, and open her security badge photo right next to Miles's on the monitor. I adjust the windows so they're the same size, side by side, like a before and after comparison in a weight loss commercial, except there's no before and after here, just 2 very similar afters. "What exactly am I supposed to be looking at here?" Zoe asks, her voice getting that defensive edge it gets when she knows something's coming but hasn't figured out what yet. Is there some kind of problem with the system? Did something get corrupted? "No corruption," I say, my voice way calmer than I feel. "Just really look at both photos, Zoe. Like, actually, look at them objectively for a second. She leans forward, squinting at the screen. I can see her brain working, trying to figure out what point I'm about to make so she can get defensive about it. Okay, she says slowly. I'm looking. What's your point? I take a breath. You're literally the same attractiveness level. Same body type, same fashion sense, straight from the Target clearance rack. He actually has clearer skin than you do if we're being completely honest here. Better teeth too. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying it because it's objectively true. Her face goes completely blank. Like her entire brain just blue-screened and needed a hard restart. Her mouth opens a little bit but no sound comes out. I watch her eyes dart between the two photos, like she's trying to find some angle, some perspective where what I just said isn't completely accurate. Excuse me? She finally manages to say, her voice coming out all strangled. Are you seriously calling me ugly right now? That's incredibly unprofessional. I could literally report you to HR for this. I'm not calling you ugly, Zoe, I say, and I'm making a real effort to keep my tone level and factual. I'm saying Miles brings you fresh coffee every single morning. He has a stable accounting job with benefits, his own apartment downtown, and you mock him for having the exact same physical traits that you have. You both shop at Target, probably at the same store. You both could use some gym time if we're being honest. You both have perfectly average faces, the kind you'd scroll past on a dating app without a second thought. The only real difference is he's genuinely nice to people, and you spend your time tearing everyone down. Zoe just stares at her reflection in the black computer screen for what feels like forever. I can literally see her having some kind of internal crisis and reality check happening in real time. Her eyes are kind of unfocused, and she's breathing a little heavier than normal. The office is weirdly quiet except for the humming of computers and the distant sound of someone talking on the phone in another cubicle. I almost feel bad for a second, watching her process this, but then I remember all the screenshots, all the cruel comments, all the guys she's humiliated for absolutely no reason. But she starts, then stops. Her hands are fidgeting with a pen on her desk. I mean, I could definitely do better than, she pauses, searching for the words. Then what exactly? I interrupt. Then a guy who remembers you like vanilla lattes with extra foam and no sugar. Who asks about your weekend and actually listens to your answer. Who has a steady job in his own place and treats you with respect, even though you mock him behind his back? That's not, Zoe's voice is shaky now. You're twisting this. I just mean I have standards, okay? Is that so wrong? To have standards? Standards are fine, I say. Delusion isn't. Zoe, when's the last time someone you consider better actually asked you out? Long pause. Really long pause. I can hear the office printer start up down the hall, whirring and clicking as it spits out somebody's document. The heating system kicks on with a low hum. Zoe swallows hard. That's not the point here. It kind of is, though, I counter. You've been single for what, 8 months now? Ever since that guy from your gym stopped calling you back? And you constantly wonder why nobody decent asks you out. You post about it on social media. You complain about it to anyone who'll listen. But meanwhile, you're rejecting guys who are literally perfect matches for you because you've convinced yourself you deserve some fantasy person who doesn't exist. Zoe's eyes are getting watery now. So what? I'm just supposed to settle? Just date the first guy who brings me coffee and pretend I'm happy about it? It's not settling if you're in the same league, I say. And I know I'm being harsh, but somebody needs to tell her this. That's called being realistic. That's called recognizing what you bring to the table and finding someone who matches that. Miles isn't beneath you, Zoe. If anything, you're beneath him. Because at least he's a decent person who doesn't spend his lunch break rating people and posting their photos in group chats to make fun of them. Her face flushes red at that. You're in those group chats too, she says defensively. So don't act all high and mighty. I stopped responding months ago. I point out, I should have left entirely, but I didn't, and that's on me. But I never contributed. I never piled on, and I sure as hell never initiated any of it. Zoe stands up abruptly, her chair rolling backward and hitting the cubicle wall. I need to use the bathroom. She grabs her phone and basically flees. I sit there for a second, then get back to cleaning up her computer. The malware scan is still running, finding threat after threat in her system. Feels kind of metaphorical, honestly. I'm there for maybe another 20 minutes, removing all the toolbars, uninstalling the sketchy extensions, updating her security settings. The whole time, I'm half expecting Zoe to come back with HR or something, ready to file a complaint about me. But she doesn't come back at all. Eventually, I finish up, leave a note on her desk about the fixes I made and some basic security recommendations she'll definitely ignore, and head back to my own desk on the second floor. The rest of the day is pretty normal. A few more help desk tickets, a networking issue in the sales department, the usual stuff. But I can't stop thinking about that conversation, about the look on Zoe's face when she really looked at those two photos side by side. Part of me feels guilty for being so blunt, but mostly I just feel tired. Tired of watching her tear down decent people, tired of being complicit by staying silent. That evening, I get home to my tiny studio apartment, heat up some leftover Chinese food, and try to watch Netflix. but I keep thinking about Miles and how he's probably going to bring Zoe coffee again tomorrow morning, completely unaware that she talks about him like he's garbage the second he walks away. I think about whether I should tell him, whether he deserves to know how she really feels, but that seems cruel too, in a different way. I fall asleep on my couch around 10 p.m., still in my work clothes, with some cooking show playing in the background. The next morning, Tuesday, I wake up with this knot in my stomach. I'm not sure if it's guilt or anxiety about potential fallout from yesterday. I take longer than usual getting ready, changing my outfit twice, like what I wear is going to somehow affect how this day goes. I get to the office at 8:45, 15 minutes earlier than normal. I'm hoping to slip in, get to my desk, and just stay busy enough that I don't have to interact with Zoe. But at exactly 9:15 a.m., like clockwork, I hear the elevator ding and see Miles step out carrying 2 coffee cups. My heart starts pounding because I'm suddenly terrified he's going to try to give Zoe her coffee and she's going to publicly humiliate him or something. Except Miles doesn't head toward the reception desk. He walks straight toward my desk on the second floor, weaving between cubicles until he's standing right in front of me. He sets one of the coffee cups down on my desk, then pulls up the spare chair from the empty cubicle next to mine and sits down without asking. His expression is hard to read, kind of serious but not angry. "We need to talk," he says quietly. My mouth goes dry. "Okay, I heard everything you said to Zoe yesterday," Miles says, and my stomach just drops. Every single word. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. I'm about to get reported to HR for sure. I probably crossed like 15 different professional conduct lines. "Miles, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have," I start, but he holds up his hand. "Don't apologize," he says. "That's not why I'm here." He pulls his laptop out of his messenger bag and opens it. "I've been documenting Zoe's behavior for about 6 months now, ever since I figured out she was screenshotting the company directory and sharing photos in group chats." "Wait, what?" I lean forward. "How did you know about that?" "She accidentally included me in one of the group chats for about 30 seconds before she realized and removed me," Miles explains, his fingers already pulling up files on his laptop. "But that 30 seconds was enough. I saw what she was doing, so I started paying attention, screen recording when she'd post things, saving screenshots before she could delete them, documenting everything." He turns the laptop toward me and I feel sick to my stomach. There are folders within folders, all meticulously organized by date and person. Each folder contains screenshots, many of which I recognize from the group chat I'd been part of. "Miles, this is a lot," I say, scrolling through the files. "I wasn't sure if I was being too sensitive, you know," Miles says, and for the first time I can hear real emotion in his voice. Like, maybe this is just how girls talk about guys, right? Maybe I was taking it too personally. Maybe I was being a baby about it. "You weren't," I say firmly. "After hearing what you said yesterday," Miles continues, "I realized I wasn't crazy. She's not just mean to me. She's systematically cruel to dozens of people, and she enjoys it." He opens another folder and my eyes widen. There are screenshots of Zoe's conversations that I've never seen before. Apparently she had multiple group chats, not just the one I was in. Different chats with different people, all serving the same purpose: mocking male coworkers. One screenshot shows a photo of Brian from Legal with arrows drawn all over it, pointing to different parts of his appearance with cruel captions. "Receding hairline at 28, laugh my ass off. Probably shops at Men's Warehouse. This is why God invented therapy." Brian's a nice guy. He volunteers at the animal shelter every weekend. Same as Miles, actually. They both talk about it sometimes in the break room. Brian's girlfriend of 3 years just left him last month, moved to another state for a better job, and he's been quietly devastated about it. And Zoe knew about it because he mentioned it when he was signing for a package one day, and she still posted this. "How long have you been collecting these?" I ask, feeling nauseated. "Since March," Miles says. 6 months. At first I was just saving them for myself, I guess. Like evidence that I wasn't imagining how terrible she was. But then it kept getting worse. More people getting mocked, crueler comments, and I started thinking, someone needs to stop this. He pulls up a spreadsheet, because of course Miles has a spreadsheet. He's an accountant. It lists every person Zoe has publicly mocked, with dates, specific comments, and evidence links. There are at least 30 names on this list. 30 different guys from our company that she's humiliated just because she could. "The thing is," Miles says, and he's looking at me very seriously now, "I can't report this alone. She'll just say I'm bitter because she rejected me, or I'm making it up because I'm obsessed with her, or whatever. She'll play the victim. But if we both go to HR, with actual evidence, with documented patterns of behavior, they have to take it seriously, right?" I think about it. HR at Harrington Tech Solutions is run by Patricia Hoffman, who's worked here for about 15 years. She's in her late 42nds, divorced, has 2 teenage kids, kind of looks perpetually tired. She has a reputation for being fair, but also for avoiding drama when she can. She's the type who'll mediate conflicts but prefers everyone just get along and not make waves. The last time someone filed a harassment complaint, I heard it took like 3 months to resolve, and the person who filed ended up leaving the company before it was even finished. Not great odds. What if HR doesn't do anything? I ask. Then at least we tried, Miles says. At least it's on record. And if it keeps happening, we have a paper trail. He's right, of course. We have real evidence, documented patterns of behavior. This isn't hearsay or he said, she said. This is receipts. Okay, I say. Let's do it. But we need to make sure everything is backed up first. If she gets wind of this before we report it, she'll try to delete everything she can. Leave groups, remove people, cover her tracks. Miles actually smiles for the first time since sitting down. Already done. I have everything on my personal drive, a USB stick, and I emailed it all to myself from a personal account. She can't touch any of it. I also saved copies to the cloud and sent a backup to my apartment desktop. I'm not taking any chances. Jesus, you really thought this through, I say, kind of impressed. I'm an accountant, he says with a slight shrug. I don't do anything without documentation. So when do you want to do this? I ask. Go to HR? Today, Miles says immediately. Before she has any time to figure out what we're planning, before she can get ahead of it, I glance at the clock. It's 9:47 a.m. Okay, let's take the morning to organize everything into a presentation HR can actually follow. Timeline, specific incidents, evidence links. Make it as clear and damning as possible. I already started, Miles says, pulling up another file. I've been working on this for weeks. Of course he has. The file is incredibly thorough. He's got dates, times, specific incidents, screenshots organized chronologically, categories for different types of harassment, appearance mocking, career belittlement, personal life invasions. It's more organized than most official company presentations I've seen. You're like, weirdly good at this, I observe. I used to want to be a lawyer, Miles admits, before I switched to accounting. Turns out building a case is building a case, whether it's for court or for HR. We spend the next hour and a half refining the presentation. I add some screenshots from the group chat I was in, plus notes about times I witnessed Zoe mocking people in person. I include the conversation I had with her yesterday, not as evidence of her behavior, but as context for why this is all coming out now. At 11:30 a.m., Miles looks at me. You ready? No, I think. But I say, yeah. We walk to HR together. Patricia's office is on the first floor, in a quiet corner away from the main reception area. Her door is open and she's typing on her computer, probably responding to the endless stream of employee questions she gets. Miles knocks on the doorframe. Patricia, do you have a few minutes? It's important. She looks up, clearly surprised to see both of us together. Of course. Come in. Close the door. We sit in the 2 chairs across from her desk. Patricia closes whatever she was working on and gives us her full attention. What's this about? We need to file a formal complaint, Miles says, his voice steady and professional. He sets his laptop on her desk and opens it to our presentation. Workplace harassment. We have documentation. Patricia's expression shifts from surprised to concerned in about half a second. She's seen this before, I can tell. She knows what comes next. All right, walk me through it. Miles starts from the beginning. He explains how Zoe has been systematically mocking male coworkers for at least 6 months, probably longer, taking their photos from the company directory without permission, sharing them in multiple group chats with derogatory comments, creating a hostile work environment for dozens of employees. Patricia's face gets more serious with each example we show her. She's taking notes in a legal pad, asking clarifying questions. When did this occur? Do you have the exact date? Were there witnesses? Did you report this when it happened? We go through everything. Every screenshot, every crude comment, every instance of Zoe rating people like their products on Amazon. Patricia's handwriting gets faster and messier as we go, like she's trying to keep up with the sheer volume of evidence. When we get to the part about Brian from legal, the photo with all the arrows and cruel captions, Patricia actually winces. Brian's going through a hard time right now, she says quietly. His girlfriend just moved away. We know, I say. Zoe knew too. She made fun of him anyway. Patricia sits back in her chair and lets out a long breath. This is extensive, she says, more to herself than to us. This is really extensive. We have at least 30 documented incidents, Miles adds. Those are just the ones we could verify with screenshots or witnesses. There are probably more in private conversations we don't have access to. And you've tried addressing this directly with Zoe? Patricia asks, which is standard HR procedure, I guess. Multiple times, Miles says. Every time I've called her out on it, she either laughs it off or tells me I'm being too sensitive. She acts like it's just friendly joking around, but it's not. It's cruel, and it's targeted, and it's creating an environment where guys don't feel safe or respected. Patricia looks at me. And you witnessed this behavior firsthand? I nod. I was in one of the group chats where she shared these photos. I have screenshots too. I pull out my phone and show her my own evidence. The messages I should have left months ago but didn't. Patricia reviews everything on my phone, scrolling slowly, taking more notes. The office is quiet except for the soft hum of her computer and the occasional sound of someone walking past in the hallway outside. Finally, she sets down her pen and looks at both of us. I need to conduct a full investigation into this. That means interviewing Zoe, interviewing potential witnesses, reviewing company policies about electronic communications and workplace conduct. It's not going to be a quick process. How long? Miles asks. Depends on how cooperative everyone is, Patricia says. Could be a week, could be a month. In the meantime, I need both of you to document any future incidents and avoid direct confrontation with Zoe. Don't engage, don't respond, just document and report to me. That's it? Miles asks, and I can hear the frustration creeping into his voice. We're just supposed to keep working with her while you investigate? It's protocol, Patricia says, and she sounds genuinely sympathetic. I can't take immediate action without giving Zoe a chance to respond to these allegations. That's her right as an employee. But I promise you, I'm taking this seriously. This isn't going to get swept under the rug. I want to believe her, but I've heard enough corporate promises to know that we're taking this seriously doesn't always mean anything actually happens. We leave HR feeling accomplished, but also uncertain, like we did the right thing, but we have no idea what comes next. As we walk back toward the elevators, I notice Zoe at the reception desk, watching us with this unreadable expression. Our eyes meet for just a second before I look away, but I can feel her staring at us even after we're in the elevator, the doors closing, heading up to our respective floors. She knows something's up, Miles mutters. Let her wonder, I say, trying to sound more confident than I feel. Listen, he says, taking a sip of his own coffee. I've been documenting this for a while now. I wasn't sure if I was being too sensitive, you know? But after hearing what you said yesterday, I realized I wasn't crazy. She's been doing this to everyone. He scrolls through his laptop and I see screenshot after screenshot. Messages in group chats, ratings, cruel commentary. Some of these guys I recognize from different departments. There's one from maintenance, another from sales, even the new intern from last month. How long have you been collecting these? I ask. Since March. I started noticing she'd screenshot the company directory and send it to her friends. At first I thought maybe I was just in her blind spot, you know? Like, maybe she just didn't notice me. But then I saw her doing it to other people too. Guys who never did anything to her. He pulls up a particularly nasty one where she'd circled a guy's photo and drawn arrows pointing to his hairline with comments like, "This is why God invented hats." That's Brian from Legal, Miles says. He's actually a really nice guy. Volunteers at the animal shelter every weekend. His girlfriend of 3 years just left him last month and Zoe knew about it because he mentioned it when he was signing for a package. And she still posted this. I feel my stomach turn. This isn't just mean girl behavior anymore. This is straight up bullying. So what do you want to do? I ask. Miles closes his laptop and looks at me seriously. I want to go to HR, but I can't do it alone. She'll just say I'm bitter or making it up because she rejected me or something. But if we both go, with actual evidence, they have to take it seriously. I think about it for a second. HR in our building is, well, it's a mixed bag. Sometimes they handle things well. Sometimes they just sweep stuff under the rug to avoid drama. But Miles is right. We have real evidence. Documented patterns of behavior. This isn't hearsay. Okay, I say, let's do it. But we need to make sure everything is backed up. If she gets wind of this before we report it, she'll try to delete everything she can. Miles nods. Already done. I have everything on my personal drive, a USB stick, and I emailed it all to myself from a personal account. She can't touch any of it. That's when we hear Zoe's heels clicking rapidly toward us. Her expression is hard to read at first, kind of confused, maybe a little suspicious. She's holding her phone in one hand and there's this weird energy coming off her. "Why are you two huddled up over here?" she asks, trying to sound casual but failing. Her voice has this edge to it. Miles doesn't even flinch. "Just fixing her computer issues," he says smoothly. Network was acting up. Zoe's eyes narrow. She looks at the coffee cup on my desk, the one that's usually hers, and I can see the gears turning. She's not stupid. She knows something's off. "Right," she says slowly. "Well, my computer seems fine now, thanks." She doesn't leave, though, just stands there, waiting for one of us to say something else. The silence stretches out, and honestly, it's kind of satisfying watching her squirm. "You need something else, Zoe?" I ask, keeping my voice neutral. She opens her mouth, closes it, then forces a smile. "Nope, all good." But as she walks away, I catch her glancing back at us twice. She knows something's up, and honestly, good. Let her sweat a little. Miles waits until she's completely out of earshot before speaking again. "So, when do you want to go to HR?" "Today," I say, before she has time to figure out what we're planning and tries to get ahead of it. We spend the next hour organizing everything into a clear timeline. Miles has been incredibly thorough. He's got dates, times, specific incidents. There are at least 30 different guys she's mocked publicly, and that's just the ones we can document. God knows how many more there are in private conversations we don't have access to. At 2 p.m., we walk into HR together. The director, Patricia, is a woman in her late 40s who's worked here for about 15 years. She's got a reputation for being fair, but also for avoiding conflict when she can. I'm hoping the sheer amount of evidence we have will make this impossible to ignore. Patricia, we need to file a formal complaint, Miles says, setting his laptop on her desk. She looks surprised to see us together. What's this about? Workplace harassment, I say. We have documentation. Patricia's expression shifts from surprise to concerned. She gestures for us to sit down and close the door. All right, walk me through it. Miles opens his laptop and starts from the beginning. He explains how Zoe has been systematically mocking male co-workers, taking their photos from the company directory without permission, sharing them in group chats with derogatory comments, and creating a hostile work environment. Patricia's face gets more serious with each example we show her. She's taking notes, asking clarifying questions, requesting specific dates and times. She seems to be taking this seriously, which is a relief. And you've tried addressing this directly with Zoe? Patricia asks. Multiple times, Miles says. She either laughs it off or tells me I'm being too sensitive. Yesterday was the first time someone else acknowledged that what she's doing is wrong. Patricia looks at me. And you witnessed this behavior? I nod. Not just witnessed. I've been in the group chat where she shares these photos. I have screenshots too. I pulled out my phone and showed her my own evidence. Patricia sits back in her chair, processing everything. This is extensive. I'm going to need to conduct a full investigation. In the meantime, I need both of you to document any future incidents and avoid confrontation with Zoe. That's it? Miles asks, and I can hear the frustration in his voice. We're just supposed to keep working with her while you investigate? It's protocol, Patricia says. I can't take immediate action without giving her a chance to respond to these allegations. But I promise you, I'm taking this seriously. We leave HR feeling like we did the right thing, but also uncertain about what comes next. As we walk back to our desks, I notice Zoe watching us from across the lobby. There's something in her expression I can't quite read. Fear? Anger? Maybe both. The rest of the day passes slowly. I keep expecting Patricia to call Zoe into her office, but it doesn't happen. Maybe she's waiting until tomorrow. Maybe she's still reviewing everything we gave her. Around 4:30, my phone buzzes with a text from Zoe. Need to talk. Can you come to the break room? I show the message to Miles. He shakes his head. Don't go alone. We walk to the break room together. Zoe's already there, pacing back and forth. When she sees Miles with me, her face falls. I wanted to talk to you alone, she says to me. Whatever you need to say, you can say in front of both of us, I reply. Zoe takes a deep breath. Look, I know you guys went to HR. Patricia called me 20 minutes ago, asking me to come in tomorrow morning for a meeting. So just tell me what you said. What did you report me for? Her voice is shaking. She's scared, and part of me feels bad for her. But then I remember all those screenshots, all those cruel comments, all those guys she humiliated for no reason other than her own entertainment. We reported you for harassment, Miles says simply, for mocking co-workers, sharing their photos without permission, and creating a hostile work environment. Zoe's face goes pale. Harassment? Are you kidding me? I was just joking around. Everyone does that. Not everyone documents it for 6 months, I say. Not everyone screenshots company directory photos and rates people like their products on Amazon. Zoe looks between us and I can see her mind racing, trying to figure out how to spin this. You're taking this way too seriously. I never said any of that stuff to their faces. It was just private conversations with my friends. It stopped being private when you sent it in group chats with other co-workers, Miles says. And it stopped being harmless when you started doing it to 30+ people. Zoe's expression hardens. You're trying to get me fired. We're trying to stop you from bullying people. I correct her. There's a difference. She stares at us for a long moment, then grabs her phone off the table. You know what? Fine. Do whatever you want. But don't think this is over. She storms out of the break room, leaving Miles and I standing there. Something about the way she said that last part makes me uneasy, like she's already planning something. Miles must notice because he says, "We did the right thing." I know, I reply, but I have a feeling things are about to get worse before they get better. I had no idea how right I was. The next morning, I arrive at work to find Zoe already sitting in Patricia's office. Through the glass walls, I can see them talking. Zoe's animated, gesturing a lot, and Patricia's listening with her arms crossed. The meeting lasts about 45 minutes. When Zoe finally comes out, she walks past my desk without even glancing at me. Her face is red and blotchy, like she's been crying. An hour later, Patricia calls Miles and me back into her office. We sit down across from her, and I notice she looks tired. I've spoken with Zoe, Patricia begins. She admits to making some inappropriate comments but maintains that it was all in jest and never intended to be hurtful. She's apologized and has agreed to undergo sensitivity training. That's it? Miles asks, his voice rising. Sensitivity training? Patricia holds up a hand. I understand your frustration, but after reviewing the evidence and speaking with Zoe, I don't believe this rises to the level of termination. The comments were made outside of work hours, in private conversations. They used company resources, I interject. She took photos from the company directory. That's not private. Patricia sighs. Look, I hear you, and I'm documenting all of this. Zoe will be on a strict performance plan moving forward. Any further incidents, and there will be more severe consequences. Miles and I exchange looks. This is bullshit and we both know it, but there's not much we can do about it right now. As we leave Patricia's office, Miles mutters, "She's not going to change, you know that, right?" "I know," I say, "but at least now she knows we're watching." For the next few days, Zoe keeps her head down. She doesn't make any snide comments during lunch. She doesn't send anything to the group chat. She even gives Miles a tight-lipped smile when he walks by her desk. But I don't buy it. Not for a second. Because here's the thing about people like Zoe, they don't actually change. Not really. They just get better at hiding it. And I know, deep in my gut, that she's sitting at that reception desk plotting her next move. On Thursday afternoon, I'm working on a server issue in the basement. One of the cooling fans on server 3 keeps failing and triggering temperature alerts. It's tedious work, replacing hardware components while trying not to accidentally knock anything else loose. The server room is always too cold or too hot, never comfortable, and today it's running warm because of the failing fan. I'm on my back, half under the server rack, when my phone buzzes with a routine system alert. Unauthorized access attempt on restricted files. It happens sometimes, usually someone from accounting trying to pull a report they don't have clearance for, clicking the wrong folder, triggering the security protocol. But something about this one catches my attention. The username is Zwilliams, Zoe Williams, and she's trying to access payroll records. The timestamp shows she's been in these files for the past 7 minutes. I slide out from under the server rack, wiping dust off my hands, and pull up the security logs on my laptop. And that's when I see it's not just a one-time thing. Zoe's been accessing restricted files regularly for months. I scroll through the access logs, my heart starting to pound. March 15, payroll records accessed for 12 minutes. March 22, financial documents downloaded. April 3, expense reports accessed. The list goes on and on. She's been doing this for at least 6 months, maybe longer. But here's the thing that makes my stomach drop. Zoe works reception. She has absolutely zero legitimate reason to access any of these files. None. Her job is answering phones and scheduling conference rooms, not reviewing anyone's salary or looking at company financials. I immediately create a backup of all the access logs, saving them to 3 different locations because I'm not about to let this evidence disappear. Then I start digging deeper, pulling up what files she actually accessed, what she downloaded, how long she spent in each document. The pattern that emerges makes me feel physically sick. She's been downloading her own payroll records, her timesheet submissions, and expense reports. Not just viewing them, downloading them, like she's checking to make sure something matches up, or covering her tracks, or both. I lean back in my uncomfortable basement chair and stare at the screen. Why would someone download their own timesheet records multiple times a month unless they were doing something wrong with them? I pull up Zoe's official timesheet submissions for the past 6 months. Every 2 weeks, like clockwork, she submits her hours through the company portal. Most weeks, it's just her regular 40 hours. But scattered throughout, there are weeks where she claims significant overtime. 10 hours here, 12 hours there, sometimes as much as 15 hours in a single week. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with working overtime. People do it all the time. But something about the pattern bugs me. The overtime always seems to happen during weeks when there's no big project happening, no obvious reason for a receptionist to need to stay late. I pull up the building access logs next. We have keycard scanners on all the main doors that track who enters and exits the building and when. If Zoe was really working late all those times she claimed overtime, it should show up in the access logs. Except it doesn't. Not even a little bit. The week of April 7th, Zoe claimed 12 hours of overtime, saying she stayed late Monday through Thursday to reorganize filing systems and update the conference room calendar. But the access logs show she left the building at 5:15 p.m. on Monday, 5:03 p.m. on Tuesday, 5:22 p.m. on Wednesday, and didn't come in at all on Thursday because she called in sick. I check another week, March 18th. She claimed 10 hours of overtime for special project assistance. The access logs show she left by 5:30 p.m. every single day that week. I go through 6 months of timesheets, cross-referencing every claimed overtime hour with actual building access data. And the pattern is consistent. She's claiming she worked late, but the building access logs prove she didn't. My hands are actually shaking as I create a spreadsheet documenting every single discrepancy. The date, the claimed hours, the actual access log times, the dollar amount she received for fake overtime. I calculate her hourly rate at time and a half and start adding it all up. The numbers make me feel ill. At roughly $25 per hour base pay, that's $37.50 per overtime hour. She's been claiming an average of 12 fake overtime hours per month. That's $450 per month. Over 6 months, that's $2,700. Over a full year, nearly $5,400 in fraudulent pay. But I have a sinking feeling it's been going on longer than just the 6 months I've documented. How long has she been doing this? A year? 2 years? How much has she actually stolen? I take a deep breath and force myself to keep investigating. If she's stealing through fake overtime, what else might she be doing? I pull up her corporate credit card transactions. As part of my IT administrator role, I have access to expense reporting systems for audit and security purposes. Zoe has a company credit card with a $1,000 monthly limit for office supplies and occasional business expenses. I start scrolling through her charges from the past year and immediately notice things that don't add up. February 12, $287.43 at Nordstrom Rack, listed as office decor purchase. I check our office supply inventory system. No office decor delivered or logged on that date. March 5, $156.88 at Olive Garden, listed as client entertainment meeting. I check the conference room calendar and client visit log. No clients were in the building that day. I check with the sales team who handles all client meetings. Nobody met with any clients on March 5th. March 22, $89.50 at Target, listed as office supplies. I checked the supply closet inventory. Nothing received from Target on or around that date. April 3, $312.67 at Home Goods, listed as reception area supplies. I walk upstairs to the reception area on my break the next day. Everything looks the same as it has for months. No new supplies, no new decorations, nothing. The list goes on. A $200 charge at Sephora for office wellness products. A $175 charge at DSW Shoes for professional appearance requirement. Multiple charges at Starbucks and Panera that total over $400, all listed as working lunch with clients on days when there were no clients. I'm starting to feel like I'm living in some corporate crime drama. This isn't just someone fudging their timesheet by an hour or two. This is systematic, deliberate fraud. She's been stealing from the company through multiple methods, covering her tracks, and doing it so smoothly that nobody noticed for months, maybe years. I compile everything into one master document, every fake overtime claim with proof she wasn't in the building, every suspicious credit card charge with proof it never benefited the company, every unauthorized file access. I include exact timestamps, dollar amounts, dates, everything I can find. When I calculate the total, I feel sick. Between fake overtime and fraudulent credit card charges, Zoe has stolen approximately $12,400 over the past year alone. And that's just what I can document and prove. The real number is probably higher. This is way beyond HR territory now. This isn't a performance issue or workplace drama. This is embezzlement. This is potentially criminal. I sit in the basement server room for a long time, just staring at the data on my screen. Part of me wants to march straight to Patricia and dump this in her lap. But I remember how the harassment complaint went, how Zoe got away with sensitivity training and a slap on the wrist. I remember Patricia talking about company policy and documentation and fair process. If I take this to Patricia, there's a chance it gets buried. There's a chance Zoe talks her way out of it somehow, or HR decides it's too messy to deal with, or they negotiate some quiet resignation where she pays back part of the money and everyone pretends nothing happened. I don't want that. I want actual consequences. I want people who can't be manipulated or charmed to look at this evidence. So I make a decision that I'm pretty sure violates about 15 different IT protocols. I create a new email account, something completely anonymous and untraceable. Then I write up a professional, detailed report explaining exactly what I found, when I found it, and where to look for verification. I attach every screenshot, every access log, every timesheet comparison, every credit card statement. I make it impossible to ignore or dismiss. Then I send it to 3 people: Richard Chen, our CFO, Amanda Walsh, our CEO, and Gregory Foster, the head of internal audit. The subject line reads, "Urgent. Evidence of employee financial fraud. Immediate investigation required." I include one sentence in the email body. The attached evidence documents systematic embezzlement by a current employee through fraudulent overtime claims and personal use of corporate credit cards. All data is verifiable through company systems. This requires immediate attention before additional funds are stolen. I hit send at 6:17 p.m. on Thursday evening, after most people have left for the day. Then I sit there in the basement server room, listening to the hum of the machines and wait for the world to explode. I finish replacing the server fan, clean up my tools, and head home. I don't sleep well that night. I keep imagining all the ways this could go wrong. What if they trace the email back to me? What if they fire me for accessing those files? What if Zoe somehow spins this too? But by morning, I'm convinced I did the right thing. Someone needed to stop her. Someone needed to say enough is enough. Friday morning, I arrive at the office at 8:47 a.m., trying to act normal even though my stomach is doing backflips. The lobby looks the same as always. Zoe's at the reception desk, looking at her phone, sipping coffee. For a moment, I think maybe nobody saw my email. Maybe it went to spam. Maybe nothing's going to happen. Then I notice there are two unfamiliar cars in the executive parking spaces. Expensive cars, auditor cars. I head to my desk and try to focus on work, but I keep glancing toward the conference room where I can see movement through the frosted glass. At 9:30 a.m., I casually walk past on my way to the break room and catch a glimpse inside. Two people in expensive business suits sitting across from Richard Chen and Amanda Walsh. They have laptops open and stacks of documents spread across the table. External auditors, the kind you bring in when something serious is going down. My heart starts pounding. It's happening. They're actually investigating. Throughout the morning, I watch the auditors move through the building like sharks. They interview department heads behind closed doors. They request access to financial systems, which I help set up because it's literally my job. They pull files and review documents and take notes with these intense, focused expressions. Around 10:45 a.m., I see them talking to Patricia in the HR office. She looks uncomfortable, keeps glancing at some papers they're showing her. 20 minutes later, she makes a phone call while looking at her computer. At exactly 11:03 a.m., Zoe gets called into the conference room. I watch from my desk as she walks from reception toward the executive area, her heels clicking on the tile floor. She's smiling, probably thinking this is some routine thing, maybe a question about a supply order or something normal. She's in the conference room for 17 minutes. I know because I'm literally watching the clock, barely even pretending to work. When she comes out, I've never seen someone look so destroyed. Her face is completely pale, almost gray. Her hands are shaking so badly she drops her phone and has to bend down to pick it up. Her mascara is smudged under her eyes like she's been crying, or trying not to cry, or both. She doesn't go back to her desk. She walks straight to Patricia's office and closes the door. Miles appears at my desk about 5 minutes later. What's going on? Why are there auditors here? I think they're investigating financial irregularities, I say carefully, keeping my voice neutral. Financial irregularities, Miles repeats slowly, his eyes getting wider. Like what? Like someone stealing from the company, I say quietly. Like fraudulent expense reports and fake overtime claims. Miles looks toward Patricia's office where we can see Zoe through the window, gesturing wildly while Patricia takes notes. Holy shit, he breathes. She was stealing too? Looks that way, I say. How did they find out? I shrug, not wanting to implicate myself. Anonymous tip maybe, or routine audit, who knows. But Miles is smart enough to connect some dots. He looks at me with this expression that's part admiration, part shock. You found this, didn't you? In the system logs? I don't confirm or deny, just give him a look that says, drop it. He nods slowly. Damn. At 2 p.m., Patricia calls an all-staff meeting. Zoe isn't there, neither are the auditors. Patricia stands at the front of the room looking uncomfortable. I want to address some rumors that might be circulating. We've recently become aware of some financial discrepancies that required investigation. I can't share specific details due to privacy concerns, but I want to assure everyone that we take these matters seriously and are handling them appropriately. She doesn't say Zoe's name. She doesn't have to. Everyone already knows. After the meeting disperses, Miles and I head back to our desks. That's when I notice Zoe's cubicle is empty. Not just empty of her, empty of everything. Her photos, her coffee mug, her motivational quotes pinned to the fabric walls. All gone. She's been fired. I should feel victorious, but instead I just feel tired. And a little sad. Not for Zoe specifically, but for the waste of it all. She had a decent job, decent co-workers, a guy who brought her coffee every morning, and she threw it all away because she thought she was better than everyone else. Miles appears beside me, looking at the empty cubicle. It's over, he says. Not quite, I reply. She still has to pay back the money, he nods. Think she will? I doubt it, but that's not our problem anymore. For the next few days, things at the office slowly return to normal. There's a temp filling in at reception until they can hire someone permanent. The group chat Zoe used to poison with her commentary goes quiet, then eventually dissolves entirely. Miles brings me coffee now instead of Zoe. We've become actual friends through all this. Sometimes we grab lunch together and talk about normal things. Movies, weekend plans, anything but office drama. I think I've earned a reputation as someone you don't want to mess with, which is kind of funny considering I'm just an IT person who stumbled into something bigger than I expected. The following Tuesday afternoon, I get an email from Richard Chen's assistant asking me to come to his office. My stomach does a little flip. Did they figure out I was the anonymous tipster? When I walk in, Richard is sitting behind his massive desk, and Patricia is there too. They both gesture for me to sit. We wanted to thank you, Richard says, which is not what I was expecting. Thank me? Patricia leans forward. We know the anonymous tip came from you. We cross-referenced the email timestamp with system access logs. You were the only person accessing those specific financial records at that time. My heart starts pounding. Am I in trouble? Richard actually laughs. Trouble? No, you potentially saved this company from a much bigger problem. If Zoe had continued this pattern, who knows how much she could have stolen. We're actually considering you for a promotion. I blink. A promotion? We need someone in a newly created position, Patricia explains. Compliance and security coordinator. Someone who understands our systems, can identify irregularities, and isn't afraid to report them. The pay is significantly better than your current position, and it comes with some actual authority. I don't know what to say. This whole thing started because I called out a coworker for being mean, and now I'm being offered a promotion? Can I think about it? I ask. Of course, Richard says. Take a few days. But we'd really like you to consider it. As I walk out of his office, I'm processing everything. A promotion, more money, more responsibility. It's not what I expected when I told Zoe she was in the same league as the men she mocked. That evening, I'm about to leave for the day when my phone rings. Unknown number. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. You ruined my life. It's Zoe. Her voice is thick, like she's been crying, or drinking, maybe both. Zoe, how did you get my number? That doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm being sued by the company for $12,000. $12,000 I don't have. They're threatening to press criminal charges if I don't pay it back within 30 days. I stay quiet, letting her talk. I lost my job. My roommate kicked me out because I can't pay rent. My mom won't speak to me because she's so ashamed. And it's all because you couldn't mind your own business. I take a deep breath. Zoe, I didn't steal from the company. You did. I didn't mock and humiliate dozens of coworkers. You did. I didn't create this situation. You did. You could have just let it go, she says, her voice breaking. The HR thing? Fine. Whatever. But you kept digging. You wanted to destroy me. I wanted you to stop hurting people. I correct her. Everything else you did to yourself. She's quiet for a moment, and I can hear her breathing on the other end of the line. I hate you, she finally says and hangs up. I stand there in the empty office, phone still in my hand, and feel absolutely nothing. No triumph, no guilt, nothing, just tired. The next 2 weeks pass in a blur. I accept the promotion, which comes with a small office and actual business cards. Miles takes me out for celebratory drinks, and we toast to honesty and accountability, which makes us both laugh because it sounds so corporate. I hear through the grapevine that Zoe's been applying to jobs all over the city, but news of her termination has spread. Our industry is smaller than people think. Word gets around. I start my new role and immediately find 3 more financial irregularities in other departments. Nothing as bad as Zoe's situation, but enough to require investigation. Richard was right. I'm good at this. Pattern recognition, attention to detail, not being afraid to report what I find. 3 weeks after Zoe's termination, Patricia calls me into her office again. She looks uncomfortable, which immediately puts me on alert. Zoe's been spreading rumors, Patricia says, about you and Miles. She's telling people you two are having an affair and that you conspired to frame her. I almost laugh. That's ridiculous. I know, Patricia agrees, but she's been persistent. She's posted about it on social media, tagged other employees, even called some people directly. It's becoming a problem. What do you want me to do about it? Nothing, Patricia says firmly. I'm documenting all of it. If she continues, we'll pursue legal action for defamation and harassment. I just wanted you to be aware in case anyone asks you about it. Sure enough, over the next few days, I notice some people looking at me differently, whispering when I walk by. Someone even asks me directly if it's true that I'm dating Miles. We're friends, I say simply. That's it. But the rumors persist. Zoe's on some kind of mission to salvage her reputation by destroying mine. She's posted selective screenshots from our old group chat, ones that make it look like I was encouraging her behavior. She's twisted conversations to make herself look like the victim. Miles is furious. We should sue her, he says. Patricia's already looking into it, I reply. Let's just focus on doing our jobs. But it's hard to ignore when you can feel people judging you everywhere you go. The woman from marketing who used to chat with me at the coffee machine now barely acknowledges me. The guys from sales stop talking when I walk into the break room. It's isolating and frustrating and exactly what Zoe wants. Then, about a month after her termination, something changes. Something that makes me realize Zoe hasn't learned anything from being fired, from facing a lawsuit, from having her entire life blow up. She hasn't stopped. She's just adapted. I'm doing routine network maintenance on a Tuesday afternoon, monitoring traffic on our guest Wi-Fi network. We keep a separate guest network for visitors, delivery people, and anyone who needs internet access but isn't an employee. It's standard security practice. Keeps external devices off our main network. I'm looking at the usage logs because we've been getting some bandwidth warnings lately, and I noticed something weird. There's a device that's been connecting to our guest Wi-Fi almost every weekday, usually between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. for the past 3 weeks. That's not necessarily unusual. We're in a busy area with coffee shops and other businesses nearby. Sometimes their Wi-Fi reaches our building and vice versa. But what catches my attention is the type of traffic this device is generating. Dating apps. A lot of dating apps. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Match, OkCupid, even some I've never heard of. This person is actively using multiple dating platforms. All day, every day, from right outside our building. I dig deeper into the logs, and the IP address traces back to an access point across the street. The coffee shop. The same coffee shop where Zoe used to grab her morning latte before work every single day. A cold feeling settles in my stomach. It can't be. She wouldn't. She was fired. She's facing a lawsuit. Why would she be sitting in that coffee shop all day? But I know why. Because Zoe is obsessed. Because she can't let it go. Because she's that kind of person who would rather burn everything down than admit she was wrong. I pull up more detailed logs, looking at the specific app activity. Network monitoring doesn't usually let you see inside encrypted apps, but I can see patterns. The device is creating profiles, lots of profiles, on different apps, uploading photos, sending messages, matching with people. And here's the thing that makes my blood run cold. I can see which profiles on our company network are being accessed from external devices. When someone on Tinder matches with someone else, there's a data exchange. And I can see that this device in the coffee shop is matching with devices on our company network. A lot of them. She's catfishing our employees. Still, even after everything, I spend the next 2 hours documenting everything I can see. The MAC address of her device, the patterns of activity, the times she's online, the dating apps she's using. I create a timeline showing her activity matched against our employees' schedules. Then I do something a little bit gray area, legally speaking. I create fake dating profiles on all the major apps, generic guy profiles with stock photos and minimal information. I set my location to our office building and start swiping. Within an hour, I match with 3 different profiles. Beautiful women, professional photos, interesting bios. They all message me first, which is already suspicious. Women who look like that don't usually message first on dating apps, especially not to generic profiles. I screenshot everything and analyze the photos they're using. Reverse image search is a beautiful thing. Every single photo is stolen. One set comes from a wedding photographer's portfolio, another from a fitness influencer's Instagram, a third from a model's professional website, and they're all operating from that coffee shop. Same IP address, same device, same pattern. Zoe. I dig back through historical logs, going all the way back to before she was fired. The pattern has been going on for over a year. She's been systematically catfishing guys from our company, creating fake personas, matching with them, getting them to trust her, to open up, to share personal things. And then what? Mocking them? Sharing their conversations? Collecting their vulnerability like some kind of sick trophy collection? I start cross-referencing the dating app activity with names from the company directory, trying to figure out who she's been targeting. It's not easy because I can only see device connections, not actual accounts. But I can make educated guesses based on the timing and patterns. Andrew from finance. We went through a brutal divorce last year and has been trying to get back into dating. Kevin from marketing. Just moved to the city 6 months ago and doesn't know many people. Daniel from IT, my own department. Shy guy. Never talks about his personal life much. Brian from legal. The same Brian whose girlfriend left him. The one Zoe mocked with those arrow screenshots months ago. At least 15 different guys that I can identify with reasonable certainty, and probably more that I can't. I feel sick. This isn't just mean or petty. This is psychotic. This is someone who got fired, who's facing financial ruin, who lost everything, and instead of dealing with it like a normal person, she's doubling down on the behavior that got her fired in the first place. And she's doing it from that coffee shop, every day, sitting there with her laptop, creating fake profiles, matching with guys she used to see in the hallways, pretending to be interested in them just so she can what? Make fun of them later? Hurt them? Prove to herself that she's still better than them somehow? I compile everything into a comprehensive report, screenshots of the fake profiles, evidence of the stolen photos, network logs showing the pattern of activity, timeline of which employees she's been targeting, everything. Then I realize I need more. I need to actually catch her in the act. Prove it's really her, not just some random person who happens to be using that coffee shop. So I do something probably illegal. I go to the coffee shop. It's a Wednesday afternoon, about 3 p.m. I walk in with my laptop, order a coffee, and find a seat with a view of the whole place. I'm wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses like some kind of budget spy, but I don't care. I need to see her with my own eyes. And sure enough, there she is, sitting in the back corner, laptop open, phone next to her, completely absorbed in whatever she's doing on the screen. She looks terrible. Her hair needs washing, she's wearing sweatpants and a stained hoodie, and she has this manic energy about her, constantly typing, scrolling, tapping her phone. I watch her for 20 minutes. She's managing multiple conversations, I can tell, typing on her laptop, then switching to her phone, then back to the laptop, smiling at something on the screen, then screenshotting it, taking photos of her screen with her phone. She's so focused that she doesn't even notice me, even though I'm maybe 20 feet away. She's in her own world, living out this fantasy where she's still relevant, still in control, still better than everyone else. I take photos of her with my phone, not creepy close-ups, just establishing shots showing her in the coffee shop with her devices, evidence that she's really here, really doing this. Then I go back to the office and add it all to my report. Photos of Zoe in the coffee shop, timestamps matching when the catfishing activity was happening, everything tied together in one damning package. I bring it to Patricia and Richard together. I don't make an appointment. I just walk into Richard's office where they're having a meeting about quarterly budgets or something equally boring. We have a serious problem, I say without preamble. Zoe's still harassing employees. She's catfishing guys from the office using fake dating profiles. She's been doing it for over a year, and she's still doing it now, even after being fired. Richard and Patricia exchange looks. What do you mean, catfishing? Richard asks. I open my laptop and walk them through everything. The network logs, the fake profiles, the stolen photos, the timeline of activity, the photo of Zoe in the coffee shop. Their faces get progressively more horrified as I explain. Patricia actually puts her hand over her mouth at one point. Richard just keeps shaking his head in disbelief. Patricia starts, then stops. This is beyond anything we've dealt with before. This is criminal behavior. It's harassment, Richard adds. Sustained, targeted harassment, and potentially identity theft if she's using stolen photos. We need to warn people, I say. The guys she's targeting don't know these profiles are fake. They think they're talking to real women who are actually interested in them. Some of them have been sharing personal stuff, private stuff, thinking they're building real connections. Patricia nods slowly. I can send out a company-wide email about online safety, general warnings about verifying identities, being cautious with matches. That's not enough, I say, and I can hear the frustration in my own voice. These guys deserve to know the truth. They deserve to know that someone they used to work with has been lying to them, manipulating them, probably mocking them. Richard looks at me carefully. What exactly are you suggesting? We expose her, I say. Not directly. We can't do that without risking legal issues. But we create a presentation about catfishing, online safety, how to protect yourself. We use her fake profiles as examples, show the pattern of behavior. We do it at the monthly all-hands meeting where everyone will see. Patricia and Richard exchange another look. There's a long moment of silence. That's risky, Patricia says finally. If she finds out we're specifically targeting her, she could claim we're harassing her. She's sitting in a coffee shop across the street, catfishing our employees every single day, I counter. If anyone's harassing anyone, it's her harassing them. We're just warning people and teaching them how to protect themselves. Richard leans back in his chair thinking, if we do this, it has to be perfect. Legal has to review everything. We focus on education, not on Zoe specifically. We teach people about catfishing, show them warning signs, give them tools to protect themselves. If that happens to expose what Zoe's doing, well, that's just collateral damage. I nod. Exactly. All right, Richard says. Let's do it, but carefully, very carefully. Over the next week, I work with our legal team to create a presentation about online safety and catfishing. We use Zoe's fake profiles as examples without explicitly naming her. We show the pattern of stolen photos, fake information, targeted matching. The legal team is thorough, maybe too thorough, redacting anything that could definitively point to Zoe specifically, but the evidence is still damning. Anyone who's been following the office drama will know exactly who's responsible. The monthly all-hands meeting is scheduled for the following Wednesday at 2 p.m. Everyone attends these meetings. It's mandatory. We usually discuss company performance, upcoming projects, that sort of thing. This month, I'm scheduled to give a 15-minute presentation on cybersecurity and online safety. I prepare everything carefully. The presentation is professional, factual, and devastating. I've got examples of fake profiles, screenshots of targeted conversations, evidence of a year-long pattern of catfishing and harassment. On Wednesday morning, I arrive early to set up. Miles helps me test the projection system and make sure everything's ready. He knows what I'm about to do, and he's both supportive and worried. You sure about this? He asks. No, I admit, but it needs to happen. The conference room fills up by 1:55 p.m. Richard opens the meeting with the usual updates about quarterly earnings and new client acquisitions. Then he introduces my segment. We've become aware of some concerning online activity targeting our employees, Richard says. I've asked our new compliance and security coordinator to share some important information about protecting yourself online. I stand up and click to the first slide. The title reads, Online Safety and Catfishing, What You Need to Know. I start with basic information about how catfishing works, the warning signs, common tactics. People are paying attention, but they seem a little bored. This is typical corporate training stuff. Then I click to the next slide. However, we've recently discovered a specific, targeted campaign affecting employees of this company. The room gets quieter. People sit up straighter. I show the first fake profile. A gorgeous woman in her late 20s, professional photos. Profile says she's interested in tech guys and works in marketing. This profile was created using stolen photos from a wedding photographer's portfolio, I explain. The person running this account matched with multiple employees from our company on various dating apps. I click through several more profiles, each one using different stolen photos, different names, but all targeting men from our office. Then I show the map. I've plotted all the login locations for these fake accounts. They all come from the same IP address, the coffee shop across the street, during work hours, on weekdays. For over a year, someone in the back of the room mutters, "Holy shit." The person running these accounts would match with employees, engage in conversations, build trust, then screenshot and share those conversations publicly to mock the victims. I click to the next slide showing a timeline. The activity started 14 months ago and continued through last week. I don't show the actual screenshots or name any victims, but I show the pattern. To protect yourself, I continue, be cautious about sharing personal information with online matches. Verify identities through video calls. Reverse image search profile photos, and report any suspicious accounts to the platforms immediately. But then I make a calculated decision. I click to a slide I didn't clear with legal. If you believe you may have been targeted by these specific fake accounts, please contact HR or myself directly. We have documented evidence that may help you take appropriate legal action. The room is dead silent. Everyone's staring at the projection screen, at the map showing the coffee shop across the street, at the timeline that anyone paying attention will recognize. I see Brian from legal lean over and whisper something to his neighbor. I see a guy from sales pull out his phone and start scrolling, probably checking his dating app matches. Are there any questions? I ask. A hand goes up in the back. It's Tim from marketing. Can you tell us who's behind these accounts? I glance at Richard. He gives me a small nod. Due to ongoing legal matters, I can't name the individual responsible, I say carefully. However, the activity has been reported to the appropriate authorities, and the company is taking steps to ensure employee safety. Another hand. Why target our company specifically? Based on the evidence, I say, this appears to be personally motivated. The individual responsible had access to our employee directory and used that information to identify and target specific employees on dating platforms. I can see people connecting the dots. Whispers spread through the room. Someone says Zoe's name just loud enough for others to hear. The meeting wraps up shortly after. As people file out, several guys approach me quietly. One of them is Andrew from finance. I think I matched with one of those profiles, he says, looking embarrassed. We talked for like 3 weeks. I thought we really had a connection. I'm so sorry, I say. If you want to file a report, I can help you document everything. He nods, then walks away looking devastated. Over the next few hours, 6 more guys come forward, each one with a similar story. They matched with a beautiful woman who seemed genuinely interested in them. They shared personal stuff, nothing too crazy, but enough to feel violated when they realize it was all fake. Miles helps me document each case. We're creating a file that's growing bigger by the hour. Screenshots, timeline evidence, everything we need to potentially pursue legal action. That evening, around 6 p.m., I get a text from an unknown number. When I open it, I see a screenshot. It's me and Miles in the parking lot that morning, carrying our laptops. The caption says, "They're planning something." The photo was taken from across the street. From the coffee shop, she's watching us. I show the text to Miles. He looks out the window toward the coffee shop. She's obsessed, he says. We need to tell someone. I'm already calling Patricia. She answers on the second ring. After I explain about the photo, Patricia's quiet for a moment. Then she says, "I'm contacting our lawyer tonight. This is harassment and stalking. We're filing a restraining order." I hang up and look at Miles. I think we really pissed her off this time. "That's putting it mildly," he replies. The next morning, Thursday, I arrive at work to find a police car parked outside. 2 officers are in Patricia's office when I walk by. They're there for about an hour, taking statements and reviewing evidence. At 10 a.m., Patricia calls me and Miles into her office. The police are still there. "We're filing charges," one of the officers explains. "The catfishing, the stalking, the harassment. We have enough evidence for multiple charges. We'll be serving her with a restraining order today. She can't come within 500 feet of this building or contact any employees," the other officer adds. I feel relieved but also strange. This started because I told Zoe she was in the same league as the guys she mocked, and now we're filing criminal charges against her. Around 2 p.m., I'm at my desk when I get an email from a name I don't recognize. When I open it, I immediately know it's from Zoe using a fake account. The email is long, rambling, and desperate. She's begging me to make all this go away. She says she'll pay back the money, she'll leave me alone, she'll do anything. She admits to the catfishing but insists it was just a joke that got out of hand. At the bottom, she writes, "I'll give you $5,000 to make the evidence disappear. Just delete the server logs and tell HR you made a mistake. Nobody has to know." I read it twice, then forward it to Patricia, Richard, and the police officers who were here earlier. Attempted bribery. Add it to the list. An hour later, Patricia calls me. "The police want you to respond," she says. "Ask her to meet in person to discuss it. They want to catch her in the act." I don't love the idea of being bait, but I agree. I write back, I can't discuss this over email. If you want to talk, come to my apartment tonight at 8 p.m. I include my address and wait. At 7 p.m., I'm sitting in my apartment with 2 plainclothes police officers. They've set up recording equipment and briefed me on what to do. Basically, just get her to repeat the bribe offer on camera. At 7:58 p.m., there's a knock on my door. I open it to find Zoe standing there, looking terrible. Her hair's unwashed, she's wearing sweatpants and a stained hoodie, and her eyes are red and puffy. "Can I come in?" she asks quietly. I step aside and let her in. The officers are in my bedroom with the door cracked, recording everything. Zoe sits on my couch and immediately starts crying. "I'm so sorry," she says. "I know I messed up. I know I hurt people, but I can't handle this. The lawsuit, the criminal charges, losing my job, it's too much." I stay quiet, letting her talk. "You said in your email I could make the evidence disappear," she continues, wiping her eyes. "I have $5,000. I can get it to you tonight if you just delete the files from the company server. Please, I'm begging you." I make a show of considering it. "That's a serious thing you're asking me to do." "I know," she says quickly, "but you're in IT. You have access to everything. Just say there was a system error or something. Nobody would know." She pulls out her phone. "I can Venmo you half right now and the other half tomorrow. $5,000. You could use that money, right?" I nod slowly. "Yeah, I could use it." "So you'll do it?" Hope flashes across her face. That's when I pull out my own phone and start recording. "Say that again," I tell her. "You'll give me $5,000 to delete evidence from the company server?" Her face goes white. "What are you doing?" The bedroom door opens, and the 2 officers step out. Zoe's eyes go wide as she realizes she's been set up. "Ma'am, we need you to come with us," one of the officers says, pulling out handcuffs. Zoe looks at me with pure hatred. "You bitch," she hisses. "You absolute bitch. You tried to bribe me," I say calmly. "You did this to yourself." The officers lead her out in handcuffs. One of them stays behind to take my statement and collect the recording. After they leave, I sit alone in my apartment staring at my phone. The recording is still there, Zoe's desperate voice offering me money to destroy evidence. I save it to 3 different locations, then send a copy to Patricia and Richard. Then I pour myself a very large glass of wine and finally let myself feel everything I've been holding in for weeks. The relief, the exhaustion, the sadness for what Zoe could have been if she'd just been a decent person, the satisfaction of knowing she can't hurt anyone else, and the faint, nagging guilt that I contributed to her complete destruction. But then I remember all those guys she catfished, all the coworkers she mocked, all the money she stole. And I remind myself that I didn't do this to her. She did it to herself. I just held up a mirror and showed her who she really was, and she couldn't handle what she saw. Make sure to click on the screen to watch other stories.